Welcome to the dynamic learning hub of ExcelR at Andheri East. A prime spot conveniently located at just a 5-minute walk from LIC Andheri Metro. In our journey of over a decade, we have proudly trained over 2 lakh students. We have also been recognized by Deloitte, Silicon India, and other accreditation bodies. Experience learning like never before in our spacious and comfortable classrooms. With high-definition projectors and state-of-the-art acoustics in place, we ensure effective learning even to the farthest point in the room. The hybrid mode is a game changer as you can enjoy the benefits of a live classroom from the comfort of your home. Even if you happen to miss any classroom session, you can still attend the same session with the same trainer at the same time at your convenience, maintaining consistency in your learning progress. Want to get started? Join us for a demo or career chat over a cup of coffee at our Andheri branch. ExcelR. We don't just train, we build careers.
Yes, so the collaboration with ExcelR was an excellent one. We conducted a Power BI workshop with Advanced Excel over a span of 3 days. The workshop was almost 12 hours long in total. Mr. Karthik, who was an amazing trainer, helped the students understand the concepts deeply. I am sure that the students will be able to apply these concepts in their careers as well as their daily lives.
The trainer, Mr. Karthik, was an excellent person where he explained in very detailed manner on how to give great insights using very complex data sets.
So it was a machine learning workshop. We learned a lot from the course and it was a great experience attending the workshop.
The trainer was very helpful. He had a hands-on approach with his teaching and it was fabulous.
This was a great experience for me. So I would absolutely love it if ExcelR and its team would come again to our campus and conduct more events like this.
It was a great course and it started from basics and took me to a great extent.
The experience of the workshop was really nice. The feedback from all the students was positive. They understood the concept. The workshop was also practical based with some questions. The experience with ExcelR was very smooth. They helped us in conducting the workshop smoothly right from the booking of the vendor and deciding the course till the distribution of certificates. In overall, this workshop was a success during our Technical Fest Atmos, and I thank ExcelR for being a part of it.
I was very much interested in learning digital marketing course for a very long period of time, but I don't get a proper platform. So later for my college, I get to know about ExcelR and I enroll in ExcelR course. It was really good experience. Our course has been taken by Mayur sir, and he was very good teacher. He not only focusing on theory part, he's doing how real digital marketing works, and it was in total very good experience. I get so much of knowledge. Here they're not only focusing on study, they're also conducting different exams to test our knowledge. And as we are giving the exam, so to appreciate our work, they give certificates for the toppers, and along with the certificate they give hampers. Thank you, ExcelR.
Recently, I was searching for digital marketing courses online in Google, and I came across ExcelR, and I attended a digital marketing course which was for 15 days. My mentor Mayur helped me for attending these classes. So he is a very informative and helpful guy. In the course end, there is a exam which I topped, so I came to the ExcelR office in Bengaluru. This digital marketing course has helped my career and my skills to develop, and the certificate
Hope you're all doing well. Okay, good evening, Murli sir.
Yeah, hey, hi, Susmita. Good evening.
Yeah, you can start the sessions.
Yeah. Yeah, hey guys. Good evening to everyone. I hope I'm audible to everyone.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
So let's recap what we have discussed in last class. See, in last class, we have discussed what is mean by cluster, what is mean by Kubernetes, why we are going with Kubernetes, what is mean by Kubernetes, what are the features Kubernetes is going to offer, and also what are the Kubernetes architecture. See, in architecture, we have two type of nodes. One is master node, one is worker node. See, master node has four components: API server, etcd, control manager, scheduler. As same worker node also has four components. It is nothing but kubelet, kubeproxy, pod, and container runtime. So these components are very important whenever you are going to work with Kubernetes, because of without understanding Kubernetes architecture, Kubernetes components, it is difficult to understand what is meant by Kubernetes, how Kubernetes is going to deploy the application. So that's why in this class we have discussed what is meant by Kubernetes, why Kubernetes, who invented Kubernetes, when it was introduced into the market, about Kubernetes, all these things in last class we have discussed. So in today's class we are going discussing about, and also we have discussed how to create a cluster as well. So using IAM rules, and we have set up one virtual machine. On top of virtual machines, we have installed kubectl, EKCTL, AWS CLI, and we have attached some AM rules to the virtual machine. Then we have created one cluster as well. So far we have discussed in last class. So now we have discussed about how we can able to work with Kubernetes. So let me share my screen. Let me share my screen. Yeah. So yeah, in today's class, I'm not going to creating a cluster because of it will take around 10 to 15 minutes. But there is option, there is open source platform is there. Whenever you want to work with Kubernetes cluster, that is all about Killer Coda. See, Killer Coda is a website. It is one of the platform. They are providing Kubernetes free labs. So whenever you don't have AWS account, whenever you don't have cluster, whenever you don't have any virtual machines, no problem. We can work with Kubernetes by using Killer Coda free labs. They are providing Kubernetes free labs. You can able to use by logging with your Gmail ID. So let me explain how can we use Killer Coda free labs. Just go to your browser, open the new tab, just type killer coda pre-labs. So like this, you have to search on your browser. Now hit the enter. See, now you can see Killer Coda interactive environments. So click on the first link, Killer Coda interactive environments. So you will get page like this. See, here we have playgrounds, examples, CKA certification, CKAD certification, and all these things. So now we need one lab, right? So whenever you want a lab, Kubernetes lab, click on the playgrounds. Click on the playgrounds. Yeah, you will get like this environments. See playgrounds, we have here we have single node cluster, two node cluster. So please go with the second lab. See here we have two node environment with the latest KubeAD version of a few weeks after release. So click on the second lab, choose second lab. So it will create one lab. So you can be able to use this lab, but it will ask to sign in by using GitLab, GitHub, or Docker Hub, and Gmail and email. So by using these options, you can choose any one of the option for logging to Killer free lab. So once you log in with your Gmail ID, you can able to get your lab. See clearly they're telling initializing Kubernetes done. If you look at the screen, control plane. See what is mean by control plane? Control plane is nothing but master node. Master node is nothing but control plane. See right at top, we can see 60 minutes. See what is the meaning of 60 minutes? That means this lab will be available only 60 minutes. Then what will happen after 60 minutes? Again, you have to log in. Every 1 hour, you have to log in. So this is the thing you have to remember. So whenever you want to get 4 hours, you have to take a membership plus membership. So it will cost. So that's why don't do any membership. Please go with the free of cost. You can use this lab for 60 minutes. After 60 minutes, just log in. That's it. So in a day, a number of times you can use this lab. There is no any restrictions. So now let me explain. Whenever this is the lab, so this lab is going to act as a Kubernetes cluster. So let me explain. Whenever you logged in, whenever you connected any cluster, whenever you created any cluster, the first thing what you have to check your nodes. See how many nodes are there, whether your nodes are ready or not. So how can you check without nodes ready? You cannot do anything. Already we have discussed what is mean by node, worker node. See on worker node only entire our application workload going to be deployed, not on master node. But with the help of master node only, we can able to create worker nodes. That means without having master node, we should not create, we can't create any worker node. But without having worker node, we can't deploy any application on Kubernetes cluster. So that's why whenever you log in any container, any cluster, whenever you create any cluster, the first thing you have to check how many nodes are there, what is the status of your nodes. So what is the command? Whenever you want to check, whenever you want to talk with the Kubernetes cluster, whenever you want to communicate with the Kubernetes cluster, you should know about kubectl. See what is mean by kubectl? Kubectl is nothing but command line interface. So by using this kubectl only, we can able to communicate, we can able to talk to the Kubernetes. So now let me explain. Kubectl get. So then type nodes. Now I want to see only nodes. That's why I'm using this command kubectl get. See kubectl get is common for every resource. But after that you have to mention the resource type. See if you want to see nodes, just type nodes. If you want to see pods, mention the pods. If you want to see replica sets, mention RS. If you want to see deployments, mention deployments. If you want to see services, mention the resource type only. So now let me explain. I want to see only nodes. Kubectl get nodes. Hit the enter. See, I can see one control plane. That means it's a two-node environment, right? Control plane is nothing but master node. It's ready. Then one node is a work node. It is also ready. So this is how we can able to check whenever you log in, whenever you connected any Kubernetes cluster by using kubectl get nodes. So let me go for the flow chart. Let us discuss. There is one requirement. Let me explain. There is one requirement. Yeah, there is one requirement. So there is a Flipkart application. There is a Flipkart application. There is a Meesho application. There is a Meesho application. There is a Geo Hotstar application. Geo Hotstar application. There is a Amazon application. There is a Amazon application. There is an organization. There is one organization. There is one organization or company. The company has only one cluster. The company has only one cluster. This is my cluster. The company has only one cluster. The company has only one cluster. Okay, everyone use chat box. I think you are able to send messages in the chat box. I want responses from you. So for this question. Okay, so now let me explain. See, there is organization. Organization has only one cluster, single cluster. But this organization got 4 requirements. That means there the four different clients. See, these 4 different clients approach to deploy these 4 applications. They have given these 4 projects to this organization, but clients doesn't know about this organization. This organization has only one cluster, but this organization don't want to lose these projects because of they want to deploy the projects, they want to deploy the application, they want to they want to generate revenue for the company, but they have only one cluster. Now my question is, can can we deploy 4 different kind of applications in a single cluster? Say yes or no in the chat box. Can we deploy 4 different kind of applications in a single cluster? Let me check. Yeah, yes. They can do by 4 number of pods. Okay. Panduranga and Terence. Okay, any other responses? Okay, CLR said yes. Mansi said yes. Okay, Suraj said yes. Okay, thank you. See, if your answers are absolutely fine, correct. Yes, it is possible. How? Whoever said yes, can you guys explain how? Can you tell me how? Yes, it is possible. How? Having any idea? Think about it. Express your ideas in the chat box. Okay, no idea. Let me explain. So let's take, yeah, cluster is a combination of one or many number of Kubernetes combination. Panduranga, your state master. No, Panduranga. Let me explain. Thanks for your responses. Thank you, whoever responded. Deploying each as separate workload. Okay, that's fine. You can deploy each as separate workload. But how? Where? Okay, thank you. Just look at the screen. Let me take one real-time example. Okay, hold on. Thank you for your responses. Let me take Okay, not about parts, Panduranga, but your response is, I appreciate for your responses. So let me take one example, real-time example. So there is a house. There is a house. There is a house. There is a house. And there are one father and mother. There are one father and mother. So this couple has 4 sons. This couple has 4 sons. First son, second son, first son, second son, third son, and fourth son. Fourth son. So now, can you answer my question? There is one couple, a father and mother. They have 4 sons. The 4 sons got married.
Students, kindly wait. I think there are some network issues, so please wait.
Yeah. Hey guys, sorry, I got disconnected due to Wi-Fi. That's why I'm unable to join the class. Okay, now I'm audible, right? Everyone?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Let me share my screen. So let's continue the session. So the question is, yeah. So the question is, there is one house, there is one couple. The couple has 4 sons. 4 sons got married. So it is possible. It is possible to live 4 families in a single house. If possible, how? If possible, yes. If possible, how? Anyone can answer the question? How now can 4 families live in a single house? If yes, how? Yes. Terence said they have their own rooms. That means whenever yeah. So whenever 4 families want to live in a single house, they have to divide the house into 4 rooms. So they have to divide their house into 4 rooms. So they have to divide their house into 4 rooms. So now first son, first son can occupy first room, second son can occupy second room, first son can occupy second room. Third son can occupy third room. Fourth son family will occupy fourth room. Fourth room. So similarly, first son's family also. So just compare this home analogy with Kubernetes cluster. So here we have 4 applications. Just assume 4 applications will be act as a 4 families. House will be act as a cluster. So now if I want to deploy 4 applications, 4 different kind of application in a single cluster, how can I deploy? Then how it is possible? Just compare with the home analogy. Home example. Yes, okay, partition. Not partition. Any other responses? Just compare this home analogy with Kubernetes cluster. Home will be act as a cluster. Applications will be act as a families. Dividing the cluster into 4 segments. Yes, Yash Pathak said we're dividing the cluster into 4 segments. So we should not call segment. There is a proper name. There is a terminology to call how we are going to dividing the cluster into multiple spaces. So it is nothing but namespace. See, there is a resource in Kubernetes cluster. Whenever you want to divide a single cluster into multiple spaces, that is not it is all about namespace. So let me explain what is mean by namespace in Kubernetes. KD is nothing but Kubernetes. So let me explain what is mean by Kubernetes. See, clearly they are telling Kubernetes namespace is the way to logically divide a cluster into virtual subclusters. So it will allow for better or organized and isolation of resources. So it will provide a scope for names. So preventing name conflicts between the different teams or different projects sharing the same cluster. So think of it as a way to create multiple virtual clusters within a single physical cluster. So this is what is mean by namespace. So clearly they are telling we are going to dividing into virtual subcluster. It is nothing but namespaces. So this is what is mean by namespace. If you want to know more about namespace, go for the official document. See, in Kubernetes, namespace provide a mechanism for isolating groups of resources within a single cluster. So this is why this is what is mean by namespace. So now let me explain how can we divide. Okay, we have a solution. We have a problem. For the problem, we found a solution as well. So now how can we divide the cluster into multiple into subcluster by using namespace. So we know about namespace. What is mean by namespace? Now, whenever you want to divide a cluster, you should create namespace. So by creating a namespace means you are going to dividing a cluster into multiple cluster or subcluster. So this is what is mean by namespace. So whenever you want to understand about how to create namespace, you should understand about what is mean by imperative style and declarative style. So let me explain what is mean by imperative style, what is mean by declarative style in Kubernetes. So first let me explain imperative style. Imperative style. See, imperative style is nothing but by using commands, 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 whenever you are going to creating any resources by using commands, it is called imperative style. Then what is mean by next one? Declarative style. That means command interface. Imperative style is nothing but kubectl. By using kubectl command interface, whenever you want to create, whenever you are going to creating any ML file, sorry, whenever you are going to creating any resource in Kubernetes cluster, you should by using kubectl command. It is called imperative style. So let me explain what is meant by declarative style. See, declarative style, whenever whenever you want to understand about what is meant by declarative style, you should understand about the YAML file. What is mean by YAML file? Let me explain. See, YAML file is nothing but yet another markup language. It's a human readable serialization program language. It's a human readable. Let me explain. See, what is mean by YAML? It's a simple yet another markup language. So let me explain what is mean by YAML file. Just click on here. Just click on here. See, okay, let me click on what is YAML file. See, clearly they're telling YAML is a human readable data serialization language. See, what is mean by human readable? That means whenever you have any YAML file, whenever you read any YAML file, anyone can read, anyone can understand, anyone can read. This is what is mean by human readable data. That means you are going to configuring, you are going to defining your data in the YAML file. This is what human readable data serialization language. So it is oftenly used for writing configuration files. That means in Kubernetes cluster, whenever you want to create any resources, you should write configuration files. So how can you write configuration files? You should use YAML file only. That means Kubernetes will accept YAML files. So depending on whom you ask, YAML stands for yet another markup language, and also we can call it ain't another markup language. Both are same. Yet another markup language and ain't markup language. So which emphasizes that YAML is for data, not for documents. Remember, YAML is file only for data, not for the documents. That means you should not store your documents inside YAML file. You have to configure only data. So this is what is mean by YAML file. See, YAML is a popular programming language because it is designed to be easy to read and to understand. So it can also be used in conjunction with other programming languages. So this is the brief introduction of what is meant by YAML file. So let me explain. So file creation, syntax, you have to remember the syntax. So whenever you want to write any YAML file, the YAML file uses a .yml or .yaml extension. That means whenever you want to write any YAML file, the file name, it could be anything. You can give whatever you want, but that file name should end with .yml or .yml. You should follow these extensions whenever you are going to creating any YAML file. Otherwise, it won't consider as YAML file. So remember this syntax. So this is what is mean by YAML file. So now let me explain. First, let me go with imperative style. Let me go with imperative style. Then I will go for declarative style by using YAML files. So YAML file and manifest file, both are same. Don't get confused. Manifest file is a official terminology of Kubernetes. Manifest file are both YAML file, both are same. So let me explain. Firstly, how now I want to create namespaces by using imperative style. That means by using commands, command line interface. So let me go to my ExcelR lab. Let me go to my ExcelR lab. Just type kubectl. Let me reconnect. It's reconnected. Yeah, okay. It's connected. Let me check kubectl get nodes. Okay, it's done. So before creating namespaces, I want to check is there any namespaces is there any default namespaces are available. That means if you take any cluster, whenever you want, if you have any cluster, definitely there will be some default namespaces. So let me explain how can we see default namespaces. Not only default namespaces. If you want to see how many namespaces are there in your cluster, so what is the command? Same command, kubectl get. So after that, you have to mention resource type. Which resource you want to see? Name space. Now hit the enter. See, look at the screen. There is a namespace named default, cube node lease, cube public, cube system, local path storage. So these are the default namespaces. And remember, you are not allowed to delete any default namespaces because of these default namespaces running required resources to run your cluster. That means what we have discussed so many components of a Kubernetes cluster while discussing the Kubernetes architecture. That means API server, etcd, and kubelet, kubeproxy, all these things. So for maintaining all the maintaining that entire cluster stack, Kubernetes is providing some default namespaces. So you should not delete these namespaces and you should not use these last 4 namespaces, but you can use default one. Whenever you want to work on, whenever you want to do practice, you can go with the default namespaces, but it no problem. But you should not go with the rest of namespaces. So this is the thing you have to remember. So now let me explain. I want to create a custom namespace. That means whenever in real time, we should not use default namespaces. Whenever you want to deploy any application in real time, you should create your own namespaces. In that namespaces only, you have to deploy your application. So let me explain how can we create namespaces by using commands. It is nothing but imperative style. See kubectl, then type create, then mention resource type. See what is our resource type? Our resource type is namespaces. So mention ns. See, I'm using short form for ns. It is nothing but ns in namespace. See, ns stands for namespace. You can write full name or you can use ns, no problem. Then provide a meaningful name to your namespace. So I'm providing Murli-ns. Hit the enter. See, namespace Murli-ns got created. Now how can I check it whether it is created or not? The command is kubectl get ns. Hit the enter. See, Murli-ns, it's created, status is active, age is 10 seconds. Let me create another one. kubectl create ns Mohan-ns. The name, it could be anything. Let me give only Mohan. The name doesn't matter. Now let me check kubectl get ns. See, I can see Mohan. Status is active, age is 5 seconds. So this is how we can able to create namespace by using command line interface. It is nothing but imperative style. So let me explain declarative style by using YAML files. See, whenever you want to write any YAML file, firstly you should create a YAML file. So how can you create YAML files? All we have discussed some Linux commands. VA space, for suppose namespace dot YAML, or you can use dot YML. Both will work. So now I'm going to using extensions as dot. So you can use let me name it Murali ns dot YAML. So the name, it could be anything, you can give whatever you want, but the file should end with dot YAML or dot YML extensions. So let me hit the enter. See, file has been created and it's open. So now let me become as an insert mode by pressing I on the keyboard. Yes, I become an insert mode. So let me explain how can we start write YAML file. In Kubernetes cluster, you can go wherever you want. The files, any YAML file in Kubernetes cluster should start with API version of API version. So in API version, V capital, remember this. Now end with colon, then version is V1. That means you have to define your Kubernetes API version. What is your Kubernetes API version? It's V1 only. So this is how we have to start any YAML file in Kubernetes cluster. So API version. And let me explain kind. See, what is mean by kind? See, in a Kubernetes cluster, we have many objects. In a Kubernetes cluster, we have many objects. See, pod is one of the object, namespace is one of the object, replication is one of the object, deployment is one of the object, deployment is one of the object, deployment is one of the object, service is one of the object, secrets are one of the objects, then config maps are one of the object, then ingress is one of the object. So these many objects that we have. I listed here only few objects, but there will be many objects. For suppose, how can we define these objects in Kubernetes cluster? So what is the instruction we have to follow? It is nothing but kind. See, kind will define your object. So that means you have to tell this YAML file, hey YAML file, please create a namespace, please create pod, please create replica set, as I have mentioned, as I have defined in this YAML file by using kind instruction. So if someone will ask what is the purpose of kind, kind will define our object or our goal. So this is what is meant by kind. And whenever you are going to defining your kind in any YAML file, remember the syntax. First letter should be capital. Now here my object is namespace. So capital N, then name space. That's it. Now you need to provide a meaningful name, right? By using imperative style, we have given one name, Murali-ns Mohan. So like that also in YAML file, you have to provide a meaningful name. So how can you provide? It is nothing but metadata. See, what is mean by metadata? Metadata will contain details of your kind. Then give space. And one thing you have to remember, whenever you are going to writing any YAML file in Kubernetes cluster, you should aware of indentation. See, what is mean by indentation? Indentation is nothing but where we should give space, where we should not give space. So this is what is meant by indentation. So whenever you want to write, whenever you want to provide a meaningful name to your namespace or kind in any YAML file, you should use metadata. Under the metadata, give two indentation. Indentation is nothing but space. So 1, 2. I given 2 indentation. Then just type name, end with colon, give 1 indentation. So here you need to provide a meaningful name. For suppose here I am giving a web-ns. So this is my namespace name. That's it. Whenever you want to create a namespace by using imperative declarative style via YAML file, you should write YAML file like this only. API version, kind, in kind, first letter should be capital, then metadata, name. So let me save this YAML file, sk::wq. QLS file has been created, named Murali-ns. Let me do cat command, Murali file. See, I can see my API version, kind, metadata, name. Now I want to run this YAML file. See, creating the YAML file is not enough. You should run this YAML file. Then only your namespace will be created. Let me explain. In Kubernetes cluster, whenever you want to run any YAML file, what is the command? There is a permanent standard command is available. So kubectl apply -f. See, -f stands for flag. Then you have to provide your YAML file name. Which YAML file you want to run? I want to run only murli-ns.yml. So let me hit the enter. If you look at the screen, namespace web-ns created. So let me check whether it is created or not. kubectl get ns. See, 9 seconds ago, web-ns status is active, age is 9 seconds. So same way, let me create another one. mohan-ns.yml. Now hit the enter, press I, just configure API version, capital V, end with colon, V1 small, then kind. Define your kind. My kind is namespace, capital N, space, name, space, end with colon. Assign a meaningful name to your kind using metadata. Give to indentation under metadata, type name, then enter for the pose application-ns. So this is my namespace name. Escape, end with colon, WQ, give ls, do cat command, mohan-ns YAML file. It's available. Let me run this YAML file. kubectl apply, apply -f, then YAML file name. Hit the enter. See, namespace has been created app-ns. Let me check kubectl get ns. See, web-ns is created. Status is active. Age is 7. Where is the? Yeah, age is 70 seconds. No. Yeah, here. App-ns. Status is active. Age is 6 seconds. So this is how we can able to divide. We can able to create the cluster. We can able to create namespaces. How we can able to divide a cluster, a single cluster or physical cluster into multiple sub clusters. So this is what is mean by namespace. So now let me explain another resources. The first resource here you have to understand about in Kubernetes cluster in Kubernetes. So let me go with flowchart before going to creating a resource. Let me go a flowchart. Just look at the screen. I'm going to explaining restaurant analogy. I'm going to explaining a restaurant analogy. So let me explain restaurant analogy. See, just assume there is a restaurant. Just assume there is a restaurant. There is a restaurant. There is a restaurant. Yeah. Just you everyone answer my question in the chat box. Why usually people go for restaurant? Why people usually go for restaurant? What is the main purpose? You can answer my question in the chat box. Yeah, Madhava said to buy or eat food. Okay, to have a meal, eat food. Yes, yes. Our main goal is, yes, thank you for your responses. Yes, eat food only. So our main goal is to having food in a restaurant. So let me explain. Let me ask who will prepare the food in the restaurant? Okay, food is our primary goal to going the restaurant. Who will prepare food in the restaurant? Who will prepare? Yes, chef only. So let me get one chef. There is a chef. There is a chef. There is a chef. Let me take different color. Yeah. There is a chef. Yeah. So the chef main responsibility is preparing the food. Chef main responsibility is preparing the food. Yeah. Let me name it chef. Then let me name it food. So to whom they will Yes, sorry, I got disconnected due to Wi-Fi again. Yes. So thanks for your responses. So let me share my screen. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir, you are.
Share my screen. Okay. Let me share. Sorry, I'm just got disconnected due to Wi-Fi again and again. Yeah. So just look at the screen. Answer my question. What is our primary goal in our Kubernetes cluster? Just compare with a restaurant analogy. Just compare with restaurant analogy. What is our primary goal in cluster, Kubernetes cluster? Why we are what we will do usually in Kubernetes cluster? Can I get a response? What is the what we will do usually in Kubernetes cluster? Why we are going with Kubernetes cluster? Just answer is on screen only. Just compare with restaurant analogy. To accommodate many applications. Yes, Mahbuba said application. So to our main goal is to deploy our application. So who will deploy the application? That means who will run your application? Who will run our application? That is all about pod. See, there is a resource. Yeah, KDS. Okay, KDS is fine, but in KDS, we have a component. It is nothing but pod. Yesterday we have discussed. Worker node has one component name. It is nothing but pod. Pod is a smallest deployable unit. See, that means who will play chef role in Kubernetes cluster? It is nothing but pod only. So then let me explain what is mean by pod. Pod is nothing but smallest deployable unit. See, that means in Kubernetes cluster, who will run your application? It is nothing but pod only. That means inside the pod only, your application will be run. So that's why we are going with pod. That's why we are going with pod. So let me explain what is mean by pod. Let me go with the official document. Click on the link pod in Kubernetes. Let me explain. See, pods are smallest deployable units for computing. You can create and manage in Kubernetes cluster. See, a pod is a group of one or more containers. See, yesterday we have discussed. Can answer my question? Please answer my question. Kubernetes is going to create the container. My question is Kubernetes going to create in the container? Do you think Kubernetes is going to create? You should not ask you should not ask question to me. You have to answer my question. I'm asking, do you think Kubernetes is going to create in the container? Say yes or no. Yesterday we have discussed why we are going with Kubernetes. Come on, quickly. I'm asking, do you think Kubernetes will create the container or not? Kubernetes will create the container or not? This is my question. Okay, Sridhar said yes. Panduranga said yes. How? Did you guys are there in yesterday's class? No. Let me explain. See, Kubernetes won't create any container because Kubernetes doesn't know about your container. So that's why we are telling not directly, but we have to define a pod. Okay, so let me explain. Okay, thank you for your responses. It may be right or wrong. I appreciate for your responses. Now let me explain. Remember, Kubernetes will not create any container. Docker only will create the container. So that's why we are going with Kubernetes. Docker will not manage your container, but Kubernetes only will manage your container. So that's why we are calling Kubernetes is nothing but containerization management tool. See what is mean by containerization management tool? Kubernetes is going to managing the container only, not creating the container. So that's why we are going with pod. So where we can able to manage, our container. So that is all about pod only. See, whenever you want to manage your container, you should understand about pod. So pod is a group, pod is a smallest deployable unit. It is a group of one or more containers. That means by using one single pod, you can manage one container or more containers. It is possible. So this is what is mean by Kubernetes. So Kubernetes is nothing but it is going to managing your containers, not creating the containers. But container Docker only will create the container. So then how Kubernetes is going to manage your container? What kind of information we need to provide in Kubernetes cluster? See, you should provide your container name. Let me come here. Whenever you want to manage your container in Kubernetes cluster, you should provide firstly container name, then Docker image, then container port number. So these things you have to provide. Where we have to provide this information inside the pod only. Inside the pod only. That means pod only in Kubernetes. If someone will ask in Kubernetes cluster, who will manage your container? Already we know about Kubernetes is nothing but Kubernetes will manage our container. But in Kubernetes cluster, who will manage our container? It is nothing but pod only. See what is meant by pod? Pod is nothing but smallest deployable unit. So that's why we are going with pod. So let me explain how can we create the pod. Then how can I able to provide container name, Docker image name, and port number on all these things. Let me explain. Just come to here. So chef role will be place Kubernetes pod. So let me, what is the, then can now tell me what is the main responsibility of pod to run your application? Because of inside the pod only, we are going to managing our container, Docker image. See, Docker image is nothing but it will contain our application source code, dependencies, libraries, and all these things. So that's why our application code will be run or deployed inside the pod. So let me make arrow mark. The pod is responsible to run the application because of our application source code is going to be deployed inside the pod only. So let me name it running the application. Running the application. So let me name it. Yeah. Now user can able to access the application. User can able to access the application. So this is scenario. This is what will happen usually whenever you deploy any application. Yes. Pod is the platform for managing the container. So pod will manage your will manage your container. So this is what is meant by pod. So let me explain how to create a pod. So let me come to the Kubernetes lab, Killer Code lab. Let me explain how can we able to create a pod. So whenever you want to create pod, you should write YAML file, pod YAML file. So let me explain. Today I won't give any break. Just stay back. VI space pod.yaml. Hit the enter. See, I created a pod YAML file for creating the pod. Now the file open. Now let me become an insert mode. Let me start the YAML file. I already told you what is the first instruction. Whenever you want to write any YAML file, that is API version. API capital V version end with colon, define version as V1. Then kind. See here, what is our kind? Our kind is pod only. So P capital, then pod. Then you have to define, you have to provide a meaningful name using metadata. End with colon, for suppose my -pod. So let me explain from here. See up to for first to 4 instructions mandatory for any YAML file. You take any YAML file in Kubernetes cluster, you should start with these 4 instructions only. So let me explain spec. See what is mean by spec? See, spec stands for specifications. That means whenever you want to manage your container using pod, you should specify your container name. You should specify your Docker image name. You should specify your container port number. So whenever you want to specify all these things, you should use the instruction spec in any YAML file. Spec stands for specifications. So now let me explain how can we specify the container name and image name and port number. Just give 2 indentation. Under the spec, exactly give 2 indentation. Just type containers. Just type containers, end with colon. Now, exactly under containers, give 2 indentation, mention hyphen, give 1 indentation, just type name. See why here I'm using hyphen in a YAML file. Let me explain. The purpose of hyphen is in any YAML file to list names. That means, for suppose if you have multiple containers, so how can you call your container by name? So that's why you should use hyphen. So hyphen will list the names. So that is the purpose only. We are using hyphen in YAML file. So hyphen space given, then type. Here you need to provide a name for your container. See, I'm giving C-1. So this is my container name. Then what next? We need to configure, we need to provide our Docker image name. So just type image, end with colon. So let me explain. Whenever you want to manage your container inside the Kubernetes cluster in using pod, the pod Docker image should be available either in cluster or Docker registry then only it is possible. Otherwise it won't create any pod, it won't manage your container by pod. So remember this thing, Docker image should be available either inside the cluster or Docker registry. But in this lab I don't have any Docker image, so let me go to my Docker Hub registry. In my Docker registry I have multiple Docker images already I have stored. So let me go to my Docker Hub registry, let me log in, let me get one image from the Docker registry. I want to deploy one simple IPL application. There is IPL application. So this is Docker image. Click on the repository name IPL-app. There is a tag. Click on the tags. For suppose if you want to pull this image into your cluster, just copy this command, then execute the command, then you can pull. Or also directly you can copy the name. Directly you can copy the image name and cluster only, pod only will pull your image directly by reading this image. So let me copy the image name, come to here, give right click, paste your Docker image. That's it. But I know this IPL application port number. So that's why directly I'm going to configuring port number. Whenever you are working in any project, don't bother about container port number. Definitely you will have a Docker file. If you don't have any Docker file, you just ask development team. Development team only will let you know what is the port number of this application or this service. So this is how you have to communicate with development team. So let me type ports, end with column. See exactly under ports, give two indentation, then mention hyphen, then type container port number. Container port, P capital in container port, end with column. So it's a startup application. So port number is 80. So this is the YAML file. Whenever you want to create any pod, you have to write this YAML file like this. So let me explain from the beginning again. API version, kind, metadata, name already you know. Then what is the spec? Spec stands for specifications. That means you are going to specifying your container information using containers instruction. So hyphen name, then mention your container name, then provide your Docker image name, then configure your port number using port section and by using the container port. So this is how we can able to write a YAML file. So let me save this YAML file. Let me save end with colon wq qls. Do cat command for pod YAML file. See, pod YAML file has been saved. Now I want to run this YAML file. So then only pod will be created. Kubectl apply -f, then pod YAML file. Hit the enter. See, pod my pod created. So how can I see my pod? What is the command? Whenever you want to see your pods in cluster, kubectl get mention pods. Hit the enter. So I can see my pod name is my-pod. Ready is 1 by 1. Status is running. Restart is 0. Age is 30 seconds. So this is how we can able to create the pod. So let me explain some more about pods. For suppose my pod is not working. My pod is not running. So how can I check how can I resolve the issue? Whenever you are getting any issue regarding your pod, immediately you have to check your pod logs only, as we have discussed in container logs. So whenever your container is not working, where you can check container logs only. You have to look for your container logs. Similarly, in Kubernetes cluster, whenever any pod is not running, any pod is not working, you have to look for pod logs only. So let me explain how can we get pod logs in Kubernetes cluster. Let me explain the command. Kubectl, simple. Kubectl, then type logs, then mention your pod name. Which pod logs you want to get? Kubectl logs my-pod name. Hit the enter. See clearly it is telling Apache 2. These are the logs. could not able to determine the server's fully qualified domain name using this IP address, say the server name driver the directive globally to suppress this image. So these are the logs. This is not an error. So this is how can able to check the logs. For suppose logs are not logs haven't given proper information. That means you are not satisfying with these logs. So how can you check the reason? Where you can find out the root cause? Instead of looking for the logs are not giving proper information. Then where you can check? For that you have to describe your pod. See, whenever you want, for suppose you are working a organization for a project, you have deployed 5 pods. Out of 5 pods, 1 pod is not running. So you have to check the logs. Logs are also not giving a proper information, but you don't know how to resolve this issue. But you have to communicate whenever you are unable to resolve the pod issue. You have to check. You have to communicate with the team lead. Hey, team lead, I have deployed 5 pods. Out of 5 pods, 1 pod is not running. But I have checked pod logs, but logs also not giving any sufficient information root cause. So immediately team lead requested you, hey bro, can you send me events of pod? So you don't know about the events. How can you check the events of your pod? Where events will be available? From where you can able to get pod events? Whenever you want to get your events of whenever you want to get events of any resource, not only for pod, but also replica set, deployment, namespace, ingress, secrets, config maps. That means in Kubernetes cluster, whenever you want to get a full information and details, you should get the events of that particular resource. So let me explain how can we get resources. So let me explain. So whenever you want to get events of your pod, let me explain. Just 1 second. Why it is giving like this? Yeah, sorry. Why lab is not working? Just give me a moment. My lab is not working. I'm having low internet speed. Why it is giving like this? Okay, it's ready. My lab is ready. Let me share my screen. Yeah. Are you able to see my screen? Yeah. So let me move on. So far now we are discussing about how we can able to get pod events. So let me get pod. The lab has been expired. That means everything has been removed, got deleted. So let me get pod ML file. Go to the official document. Slowly scroll down. Copy the pod ML file. Copy the pod ML file. Go to the lab. VI pod dot. Let me create a pod because of lab has been expired. Whenever lab has been expired, enter data will be deleted. Let me change image name. Let me get the image name. I copied. Let me change container name. C1. It's a IPL pod, that application. That's why I'm giving name IPL-pod. Let me save, run, QLS, kubectl, apply -f. That's it. Let me check kubectl get pods. See, it's creating container. Container is creating. We need to wait. Yeah, now it's running. So we are discussing whenever your pod is not running, how can you check the reason from where you can get the information? First, you have to look for the logs. So sometimes logs also will not give sufficient information. So the team lead will request you, can you send me the events of your pod? So how can you get the events? See, remember, whenever you want to get any resource events in cluster, the command is same, kubectl describe. That means you have to describe your resource. So now let me describe my pod. kubectl describe, then type our resource type. What is our resource type? Pod is my resource type. Then this resource type has one name. That is pod name. What is my pod name? IPL-pod. So don't get confused. Pod is resource type, and this is nothing but resource type name. Okay. For suppose if you want to describe namespace, remove the pod, mention namespace, then mention namespace name. If you want to describe replica set, mention replica set. If you want to describe deployment, mention deployment. So this is nothing but resource type. Now hit the enter. See, I can see more full details of my pod. See, let me scroll up. Yeah, here is the command kubectl describe pod name. What is my pod name? IPL-pod. Namespace default namespace. Service account default one. This is the node. When this pod was created, date, time, and everything is available. Then status, it's running. Every pod has one IP address. This is a private IP address of my pod. So come down. What is my container name? CFN1. What is the container ID? What is the image name? What is the image ID? What is the port number? What is the host port number? What is the state? When it was started? Container start. See, this status is pod status. This status is for pod. This status is for container, whether your container is running or not. When your container started, same timing. So come down. So look for the events. So here my events are available. So what is the message? Successfully assigned default namespace this pod to this node. Then pulling the image, my image name. Clearly telling successfully pull. See, 85 seconds successfully assigned. 85 seconds successfully pulling the image. Pulled 70 seconds for pulling the image. It has taken 77 seconds. See, pull the image. This is the image name in 7.369 milliseconds. So container created container CFN1, started container CFN1. So this is how we can able to check the events of pod. For suppose by wantedly I want to give different wrong image. Let me check. Wantedly I want to give wrong image. So let me remove the latest. See, I remove the tag of my image. That means this image is not wrong. This image is wrong. So let me check what will happen. Give ls. Whenever you have done any changes in any YAML file, after changing your YAML file, you should run this YAML file. Then only your changes will be applied. Otherwise, your changes will not apply. Let me explain. Now I given wrong image name. So let me check kubectl get pods. Still is running, but changes will not be applied. So that's why whenever you do any changes in any YAML file, immediately you should run your YAML file again. kubectl apply -f pod. The enter. See, it is showing configured. That means my changes has been configured or deployed or applied. So let me check what is the status of my pod. kubectl get pods. Still it is running. Let me make it again. The tag is not a problem, but let me give some other different. End with column. So this is the actual event name. I'm removing T. From latest, I removed letter T. Let's see what will happen. I removed letter T. So image is wrong. Let me apply the YAML file. kubectl apply -f pod YAML file. Hit the enter. Changes has been configured. Now check you should get pods. You should get pods. Why still it is running? Let me change again. Let me give different name. That's it. So here I given wrong image name. Then apply your YAML file. Now check your pod. See, now what is status of my pod? It is showing crash loop back off. It is showing crash loop back off. It is showing crash loop back off. So now I want to know the reason. So how can I check? Immediately I have to look for the events. So immediately I have to look for the events. So let me check. See, let me explain this error. See, what is been my crash loop back off? See, crash loop back off is nothing but repeatedly your container is crashing. Crash loop back off is nothing but repeatedly your container is crashing. So why repeatedly my container is crashing? How can you know the reason? Firstly, you have to look for the logs. kubectl logs, then pod. See, sorry, pod name I given wrong. IPL-pod. If you look at the screen, if you look at the screen, what it telling? Apache 2 could not reliable determine servers, but fully qualified domain name. But it didn't give any single clue regarding the image. But just now only I given wrong image. But logs cannot giving any even single clue why my pod is crash loop back off. So check again if it will get pods. Still it is crash loop back off. Error image pull. So that means whenever logs not giving full information, you have to look for the events. So by describing your pod. So let me describe kubectl describe pod, then pod name. Hit the enter. So now you can able to get the events. See what is the events? Come here. Yeah. See failed, clearly detailing, failed to pull image, this image name, spec RPC error. So that means not found. So failed to pull and unpack the image from this Docker registry. So what is the image name? IPL-latest. See, I removed T, right? So failed to resolve the reference. Now what is the last one? Come to the last one. See, backing of restarting failed the container C1 in pod IPL-app. So clearly telling failed to pull the image because of why it is failing the pull. It is failed to pulling the image because of this image is not available anywhere. This image is not available in my cluster. Can someone confirm that I'm audible or not? Because of I'm getting okay. Okay, let me check if it will get pods. Yeah. See, it's crash to back off. Already we know what is the reason why my status says yes, it is rain. So why my status my pod status is showing crash loop back off. Already we know about. So you have to fix the issue. Mostly whenever you are getting image pull back off or crash loop back off issues, mostly the issue is with the image name only. So please make sure provide correct image. So let me provide correct image. Let me provide correct image. And with column latest escape colon WQ. So now you can run kubectl apply -f pod YAML file. See, changes has been configured. Now you can check kubectl get pods. Now it's running. See, now you can check the events. Describe pod IPL pod IPL-pod. Hit the enter. See, now it's pulling the image. Successfully it's pulled. Started container, created the container, successfully pull the image. This in 685 milliseconds, 685 milliseconds. So this is how you can able to resolve this issue. Crash loop back off, image pull back off. Crash loop back off means repeatedly crashing your container. Image pull back off anything, but pod is unable to pull your image from your Docker registry. So mostly the issue is with your Docker image only. So you have to check the image. So this is what is in my pod. So now let me explain how can we delete this pod. How can we delete this pod? Let me explain. So whenever you want to delete the pod, the command is kubectl delete. Let me okay. Let me create namespace. Let me check namespace. Yeah, okay. Let me create one namespace. Kubectl create namespace Murli-ns. See, let me check namespace. Yeah, namespace has been created. See why I created a namespace now, because of so far I have deployed, I have created my pod in default namespace, but in real time we should not create any pod in default namespaces. So you have to work on with custom namespace only. So now I have my own namespace. So first let me delete a pod which is running in default namespace. Kubectl get pods. Let me delete this pod. Kubectl. The command is delete. Then mention pod resource type. Then mention your pod name. Hit the enter. See, it is going to deleting. So now, so far I have created my pod in default namespace. But let me explain how can we create any resource in custom namespace or in our own namespace. So let me explain. So I already have my own namespace, Murli-ns. Now let me explain how we can able to create the resources in our own namespace. Still pod is deleting. Kubectl delete pod. Okay, it got deleted. Check. No resources found in default namespaces. So now you have to define your namespace name in your pod YAML file. See, whenever you want to deploy any resources in your own namespace, that namespace name you have to define in your pod YAML file. See, here I have my pod YAML file. So where can I define my namespace name? Simple. Exactly under metadata, there is a name. See, under the name, just type namespace. Namespace, and with colon, give one indentation, then provide your namespace name. What is my namespace name? Murli-ns. So here, under the metadata only, you have to define your namespace name. Remember this thing. So namespace Murli-ns. Let me close, enter, do cat command, your pod YAML file. See, namespace has been saved. So let me run this YAML file. Kubectl apply -f pod YAML file. See, pod got created. So now let me check. Kubectl get pods. See, I can't see my pod. Just now it is showing IPL-pod created, but it is not showing. No resource found in default namespace. Why? Because whenever you execute this command without calling any namespace, by default it will check resources in default namespace. But my pod has been created in Murli-namespace. So let me explain how can able to see namespaces, how can able to see resources in our own namespace. The command is same command, If you will get pods, then give, then mention -n, then call your namespace Murli-ns. See, whenever you want to see resources in your namespace, at end of the command, you should use this command. -n stands for namespace. Then call your namespace -n space namespace. Hit the enter. See, I can see my pod name. IPL-pod. Ready is 1 by 1. It is running. 62 seconds ago, it has been created. So this is what is mean by pod. How can able to create the pod in your namespace. So far, anyone having any questions, please you can ask. And Sunita, are you there? Susmita? Susmita, are you there? Susmita? Can someone call Susmita? Susmita?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I have one emergency call. I'm going to wind up the session by 8:30. So I will take extra sessions for this batch. Can you please allow me to leave the call?
Yeah, sure, sir. If it's emergency, okay, fine, no problem. I will just inform to the team.
Yeah. Thank you, Sushma. Thank you, guys. Whenever if you have any questions, so please you can ask your questions in tomorrow's class. I have an emergency production issue is there, so I have should be there. I have to be in that call. So that's why I'm leaving the call. I'm leaving the session. Thank you. See you tomorrow's class. Thank you, Sushmita. Bye.
Yeah, thank you. So, students, I'm just sharing the attendance link, which I have already shared. I'll wait for 5 minutes. Please mark your attendance and drop the session. So I'll be wait for 5 to 10 minutes. So if you have not marked the attendance, kindly mark it. Or you can just keep the attendance link somewhere else. Like you can just take the attendance link and mark it, so that we can wind up within 5 to 10 minutes.